Now,
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I am Andrew Langer, inside. Andrew Langer sitting in for Larry O'Connor today. This is 6:37 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. It's Wednesday, or as I'm feeling right now, Monday part 3.
I'm going to steal that. That's so great.
Please, sitting with me, you're welcome to. If you're stealing from someone who's stolen from somebody else, probably. Sitting with me is Julie Gunlock, as always. Hello, Julie. Thank you very much for that laugh. We got a great show coming up. Tim Graham from the Media Research Center, John Gonzalez, both in the next hour from WJLA. Connor Boyack is going to join us, the author of the Tuttle Twins series, to talk about this situation in Colorado Springs. Juan Pablo Segura from Virginia, he's running for the Virginia State Senate, and Congressman Andrew Clyde, both of those in the 8 a.m. hour. Joining us right now, as he does, is Cal Thomas. He's a syndicated columnist, author of the new book, A Watchman in the Night, and we've been talking about what's going on in Montgomery County with indoctrination. You've got a great column out, Cal, in the Washington Times on this. What's your take on what's going on in Montgomery County?
Well, Andrew, before we get started, I'd like you to know that I'm using my new false name, Hopalong Cassidy, because it works so well for Joe Biden. Before we get to the Montgomery County business, I'm just appalled at the story that's printed on the front page of the Washington Times this morning about over 5,000 emails with phony names of Biden, carbon copied to his son Hunter, who, of course, he knew nothing about his son's business dealings because they never talked about it. And if you can't believe Biden, who can you believe? So I think I'm going to adopt this new phony name, Hopalong Cassidy. Always one of my favorite cowboys, by the way. Now, with respect to Montgomery County schools, a system that educated me, which I'm sure they are appalled at given what they're doing now there, you had a case where these Muslim and Christian parents were suing Montgomery County schools for an opt-out for their kids when LGBTQ literature was read. The judge said in a 60-page decision, now why would you need 60 pages to justify something that was unjustifiable, in my view, that even if the things that were read undermined the faith of these Muslim and Christian parents and their kids, it was still okay. Now, figure that out in any other category. Right. Let's reverse the process. Let's say you got an atheist parents and atheist kids, and some teacher decides to read from the Bible or the Quran or something. Would that also undermine their non-faith? This is crazy. And I say in my column, this is just one more of many reasons why parents have got to get serious about pulling their kids out of these indoctrination camps and either homeschooling them with great resources for that right now,
like
or
the
putting
Tuttle
them in a
Twins?
private school. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Julie. Go right ahead.
Cal, I really do think that what's happening in Montgomery County is happening all over the country. And don't you think that, the Democrats are really making a wrong move here? They seem to be, obviously their alliances with the teachers unions. Obviously, the thing that we're seeing out of California, where the attorney general there in California is actually suing a school for voting to give information to parents. Don't you think that this is just a political misstep? I mean, let's be totally inside Washington here and say, someone in the Democrat leadership has got to go, wait a minute, we've gone too far. Is that the thinking, or are they just out of their minds?
Well, there are two ways, Julie, to create a secular progressive liberal. One is to put them in these schools and later universities that don't teach the real history of the United States, that teach all kinds of crazy stuff that has put us behind China and many other nations that are way ahead of us in math and science, reading, history. You got third graders in America who can't read, for heaven's sakes. What's that all about? I mean, if this were a car, let's say this were a car. You paid a lot of money for a car, and we're paying more for public education now than at any time in our history. And your car kept breaking down, and the tires fell off, and the fan belt fell off. How long would you keep that brand of automobile?
Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing with our kids, except they're far more precious than an automobile. You can't trade in your kid for a better model. It's the only one you got, or the only ones you have. The public school system used to be a great system, but it has now gone totally wacko, and parents who continue to leave their kids in these systems are going to get what they're going to get, and they're not going to like it.
We're talking, and this is how we lose a republic. The other way we lose a republic, Cal Thomas, is by manipulating the legal system so that it interferes with our election process. We got those trial dates out there. What are you making about the weird coincidence that all these trial dates coincide with what's happening in the 2024 election?
Yeah, and the other way you make a liberal, by the way, is to have an open border and then addict people to government largesse, and then tell them you better vote for us because those rotten Republicans like DeSantis, who said in the debate last week he's going to deport all those people who are here illegally. I think this is overkill. This is piling on, whatever analogy you want to use. All of these trials, I don't see how they can come all at once and still have a fair trial for Trump. I think he's going to have a case, and I think it'll go to the Supreme Court, and I think he's right that this is election interference. Whatever you think of him, whether you like to vote for him or not, this is just crazy stuff. Every one of these people, every one of the DAs, you're going to get a jury in many of these systems, particularly D.C. and Atlanta, that is heavily leans Democrat. I don't see how this is a jury of Trump's peers in any way.
Here. Well, listen, the book is A Watchman in the Night. He's a columnist for the Washington Times. Cal Thomas, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you.